So I've been talking about how plants protect themselves, and one of the main ways is through this protein called lectin. And I want to talk a little bit about the pain that lectin causes us humans. So lectins are pretty big proteins, and they shouldn't be able to get through the mucosal wall that lines the intestines, but they do. And they do this by binding to certain cell receptors, which release this chemical called zonulin, which opens up the gap junctions in the intestines so lectins can invade through. And when these lectins get through the intestinal wall, they then invade the surrounding tissues, glands, lymph nodes, and bloodstream, where they're seen as a foreign particle. And these foreign particles ignite an immune response, which results in systemic inflammation. So chronic systemic inflammation is basically the root of every chronic disease. But I want to give a couple examples of what lectins specifically cause. So as you may know, one of the main reasons I experimented with the carnivore diet originally was something called brain fog, and lectins play a role in this. Because lectins can bind to something called sialic acid, which prevents one nerve from being able to communicate with another nerve, which results in symptoms like brain fog. Lectins also help the bad guys, viruses and bacteria, bind to their intended targets, which make people more prone to sickness, viruses, and bacterial infections. And lastly, there's some lectins that help us get fat. A good example is something called wheat germ agglutinin, which is a lectin in wheat. It helped our ancestors stay nice and fat, and it helps us do the same.